Welcome to Coffee with the Candidates for 2024. This is an ongoing series that Yankton Thrive does to host our commission candidates so the voters have an opportunity to learn more from the candidates. The questions have been given to the candidates in advance, and they are aware that their answers can be as long or as short as they're interested in, as well as I might have a follow-up question. So once again, Nancy Winandy from Yankton Thrive, and today I am here with Bridget Benson. Will you go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewing audience?
Well, definitely. I am Bridget Benson. I have lived in Yankton now for 18 years. It just seems just kind of crazy to me. I've now lived here longer than any other place. And this is where I met my husband. This is where we've raised our 3 boys. And I absolutely love Yankton. I work in human resources for First Dakota. I am a huge water lover. That's where you'll find me in all my spare time, sometimes even in the winter time. But that is probably one of my favorite attractions of Yankton, is being right on the river.
Well, with all the candidates being current or former city commissioners, what actually sets you apart from them?
That's a great question. I think we all bring different specialties to the table, but I would say probably my work in human resources. And, it's working with people, working with policies. I think that is one of the benefits I bring to the commission. Especially on the policy side. There's many a times when you're talking about ordinances or policies and trying to understand how it impacts people, or when it's appropriate to maybe make it tighter or loosen it up. I think that definitely helps. Executive session, when you're talking about personnel matters, I think that's something that I can assist with as well. I think living in other communities, not just Yankton, has maybe, I don't know, brought a different perspective. I just have a great appreciation for what we have here. And I feel like I've seen a variety of other things, and Yankton just meets all of my needs. And I think it meets so many people's needs.
So, in your opinion, what is the role of a city commissioner?
Well, I think it depends on the day sometimes. We do a wide variety of things. And, some days you feel like it's just approving alcohol licenses and things like that, but it's so much bigger. I think it's number one, meeting the needs of our citizens, making sure we're being responsible with taxpayers' dollars, planning for the future, to know that we have a growing city, a city where people want to live, want to raise their families, where their kids want to stay. Sometimes it's planning in the moment, and sometimes it's planning 20 years down the road.
So, share with our viewing audience your perspective on the current city budget and what you might propose to do differently.
When it comes to the budget, it's a very complex budget. And I'm actually really impressed with the way that we manage our budget today. We do take a pretty conservative approach a lot of times. I like that you can see in our budget that if something's not in it for this year, maybe it's the plans the following or the year after that. You can see that if you shift one item, how that's going to impact others in the future. I actually really appreciate the structure of our current budget. We do have some wiggle room when we need it. Sometimes I think we need to focus a little more on the triple B. The triple B is a very small portion. And so sometimes we maybe don't spend enough time on it. That particular fund is extremely important because it gives us even a little more wiggle room when we get requests for tourism purposes, like the most recent Mead request. Those are times that we can use that triple B. But what is our bigger picture for that fund, and how do we want to use it? Do we want to put more limitations? Do we want to keep it fluid? But I think there's more conversations that maybe needs to happen around that particular item. But overall, I would say I have a lot of appreciation for the way that we currently run our budget today, what that looks like. And it's actually, I think, easy to understand and process even from the public's perspective.
Yeah, for the viewing audience, if you have never followed the budget session, there are multiple meetings that are held with department heads providing input, citizens able to attend all of those meetings and provide their input. And then they always have up-to-date versions of the budget on the website, so anyone at any point can go in and view that budget. So in 2024, we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Meridian Bridge. What process would you propose or support regarding long-term plans for the bridge? You know, there have been people who said they want to continue to repair it. There have been people who say they want to remove it. And all of that has a price tag associated with it. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts.
Yes. Well, first of all, this is an amazing year. And it is so much fun watching people come to celebrate this bridge. We had our first opening event at Ben's Brew Station. We've had lunch and learns at the Mead. We have another one coming up at Ben's, which is a similar presentation to what was done at the Mead. And there are going to be events throughout the entire year to celebrate the bridge. The bridge is a huge piece of Yankton. It was about a community who came together and made something very large happen. And I think that's a common theme in Yankton, is this community comes together when it wants to move something forward, when it wants to do something great. And so I think that bridge is a lot of who we are. I'm currently serving on the bridge committee this year and trying to make sure that we celebrate it properly. But it does create a lot of thought process around what does this look like in 10, 20, 30 years. I am one that if we can keep it, that's what I want to do. I don't know if it looks like an opt-out. I don't know what the right option is, but I think that the community has to be a part of that conversation. I think we need to get a lot of input, and we need to get an understanding of what the citizens of Yankton want in this as well. But I'm going to go back to what I said originally, and that is that bridge happened because the community came together, because there was so much collaboration that took place. And that just seems to be a common theme in Yankton, whether it's Thrive, working with the school district, working with the city, working with United Way. Our community comes together when they need to. And it's pretty impressive.
So we've seen multiple economic development successes, talking about partnerships, in 2023 with $100 million in building permits. What do you think about the current processes for economic development, and what would you propose to continue or change?
We have a great thing going. It's because of the partnerships that we're seeing things like this happen. It's because of the partnerships that we're getting some of the grants that we are. The developments that have taken place over the last couple of years are going to impact Yankton in a positive way in the next 15 to 20 years, just like the Gale Drive TID. We have a lot of people coming to the table helping move things forward. And what I like about it, the partnership between the city and Thrive, especially, is that you have individuals who talk things out. They may be completely on opposing sides or have opposing ideas, but in the end, everybody's talking. There's a level of trust. We all know we want something great to happen. And so we're able to talk about things in a variety of different ways and come up with a sound solution that is truly fitting for Yankton. And I just am really pleased with some of the housing developments that are taking place, some of the expansion of infrastructure. I am really pleased.
So what are your 3 favorite things about Yankton? If I were to guess, water is going to be one of them.
Yeah, and the fact that we're located on the Missouri River is huge for me. But I think it's huge for a lot of people, whether you're enjoying the parks right by the water, whether you're want to be on the water, kayaking, boating, fishing, walking across the bridge just to enjoy the view. The water is a big piece of it. But I also would have to say I love all the things that our community has to offer for our youth. We are the perfect size that provides a safe environment for our youth, but at the same time, we have so many activities that they can participate in. We have an amazing school district. And so I just really appreciate raising children in this community. Additionally, I would say it's collaboration. It's the way the community comes together when they need to make a change, to make a difference, whether it was the aquatic center with Dive in Yankton. I think that was a prime example as well, whether it's been support for the school district when they had their opt-out. We come together when we know we want to make something happen, and it's great to be a part of that and watch it.
So on the November ballot, there may be a measure to eliminate sales tax on food, and this could create a large loss for local revenue. How do you see that impacting the budget, and what would you propose that we do differently to continue to have a balanced budget?
Oh, this was, we recently talked about this at a recent work session, and it is really scary to think about how it could limit us in the future. I don't feel like I have a sound answer for that at this point in time. And, it's something that we keep discussing, but I don't. And there's things that have been shared that I think would be helpful, but I don't think I have the perfect answer for that at this point in time.
So let's talk about community involvement. Commissioners and staff work hard to share necessary project details in the paper, at news briefings, at their meetings, in person or viewed online. And we have seen over the past year some citizens feeling like they have not had access to enough information or information early enough in the process. Thinking specifically about the challenges about West Side Park Pond and the removal of the tree, is there anything that should change or needs to change in the communication process?
This one is a really challenging one in the fact that we do try so hard to make sure that people are aware of what's taking place. And specifically looking at West Side Pond, we had so many images and so many town hall meetings and so many things that were discussed. I have gone back multiple times and I'm like, how could we have ever avoided that hiccup in the project, and what created turmoil around something that was supposed to be so great. And so there's definitely ways we can improve communication, and some of that is word of mouth. I think it brought a heightened awareness of all the things we do try to do to keep the public informed, whether it's town hall meetings and different forums that take place, or the news briefings on Friday mornings before the commission meetings, and the newspaper articles, and the fact that we do publish all of our documents on the city website. But at the same time, how can we get it out there in other means? And I know we utilize social media at times as well. Parks and Rec has always been good about that also. But I think we just have to continue to keep telling our story and to get better about making sure people understand their avenues, because I'm not sure that we can totally improve what we're doing today, but we definitely can bring awareness around what we're currently doing.
So the city is embarking on updating the comprehensive plan. What would you like to see included?
So, this was another question that I'm like, I don't have a personal agenda item. I don't have something I know specifically I want to see on that. I really want community collaboration. I want to know, what are we hearing the most? What are the things that are most important to our citizens? What are the things that are holding us back that we need to examine better? I think there's got to be a really good conversation that takes place that leads us to the right answers.
And for those viewers that are not aware, the city really does use their comprehensive plan as a guiding document as they're making decisions throughout the life of that document. So it is not something that just sits on a shelf. And so having citizen participation in the process is very important. So Bridget, do you have anything that you would like to include in this interview that was not a part of a previously asked question?
I just think overall, running and being a part of the city, it's not, I don't have a particular item that keeps me running year after year, except for the fact that I do love the community. I truly love Yankton. I am here to listen. I am here to understand. I'm not coming with a lot of preconceived agenda items or notions. I just truly care. And I am so appreciative of the collaborations I am seeing today, and I want those to continue. I am so appreciative of the way our community comes together. I am so proud to drive down our streets and the quality of our streets and our infrastructure and sleeping safe at night when I go to bed. I am proud of what we're doing. I want to keep stability for our city staff, and I want to keep them motivated and enjoying their jobs. There's a lot for us to be proud of in this community, and I want to make sure that the right people are sitting in those seats to make good decisions on behalf of our citizens, on behalf of our community, to keep things moving in the positive direction that I believe it has been over the last 6 years that I've served.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today here, Bridget. And once again, there will be early voting as well as voting at City Hall as well as Fire Station number 2 the second Tuesday in April. And we would also like to thank Mid-Continent Communications for sponsoring this session of Coffee with the Candidates. Thank you very much, Bridget.
Thank you.